What's up, YouTube? You know what I'm saying? First trading day of the year. You know what I'm saying? Happy New Year again. It's your boy Steve from Printing Gang Investments. And in today's video, we're going to talk about people don't learn what to do with money, or don't try to learn don't try to learn what to do with money until they get it. You feel me? And I feel like that's a big problem. And that's the reason y'all see a lot of things happening on this channel on Printing Gang Investments. And I got a lot of friends, that don't want to get on camera to be on the same thing. So what I would tell people, the problem is the average person, no matter what career field they in, all the way from the best tech job to the lawyer to the doctor to the highly paid union worker to the guy who makes $60,000 a year, even the drug dealer, even the underworld figures. Nobody wants to learn what to do with money to flip it until they get it. And maybe flip's the wrong word, because flip, it promotes gambling. I'm saying to grow their money, to invest their money. No one really learns what to do with money until they get it. And that's why you'll see the phenomenon of folks who make hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, and they'll be reading like basic investment books because they're trying to figure out what to do with their money. You see what I'm saying? Now, over here, me personally, I learned a lot about financial literacy and investments as a teenager, before I even had money, before I even had a job. That's why I always say I caught Apple as a child. And at the time, sometimes I used to think back and wonder, why am I learning all this information if I'm not making no money? I remember I used to go to Barnes and Noble. I used to read about the hedge fund greats of my time. I was fascinated by John Paulson and that real estate short trade. They made The Big Short, but for whatever reason, they didn't cover John Paulson, which is ironic because he actually made $4 billion. And I think the people on that movie made like between a few hundred million and $1 billion. But you got to learn the tenets to financial literacy, like now. Like whatever position you in life, whether you making money, whether you don't have money, you know what I'm saying? Whether you got a career, whether you got a job, no matter what you got going on, you got to learn the tenets of financial literacy. And that's, good credit. That's good investment skills. You know what I'm saying? Good saving skills. And if you want to get more advanced with it, we can go good trading skills. Things like that. But I was listening to a video from, I would say maybe a misinformed investor. You know what I'm saying? He seems like an okay dude. You know what I'm saying? He makes good money and he tries to invest and he tries to save. And that's the first step. But when I watch what's going on, I see the things I'm talking about. So I was listening to a guy. He was saying he doesn't want to buy any stock with over a 20 PE ratio. He doesn't want to buy, what else he said? Any stock that doesn't pay a dividend. And I understand where he got that from, because that's what they do say in a lot of, traditional investment books. But what people would fail to realize, unless you practice the market out here, in real life, that's not going to work. If you follow that advice, then you have missed every transformational tech company of the past 40 years, as Dan Nye says. Apple P wasn't like that. Amazon was negative. Google wasn't like that. Netflix, Tesla, Amazon, Palantir, all the big metal. You go on Salesforce. We can go on all day. If you follow that theory, you're not gonna necessarily be able to pick the big companies. And people always make it seem like you're a genius when you pick these companies. It's not genius. If you really watch CNBC every day, and I just say CNBC to say CNBC, but when I say CNBC, I refer to market data as a whole. If you constantly devour market data every day, you're gonna see trends that's kind of obvious to you that aren't obvious to everybody else. You see what I'm saying? So, if you're someone who, is making a lot of money, you don't know what to do with money yet, I would advise you to buy the spot and learn and learn and learn and learn. Because if you can learn, there is a lot more opportunity out here, man. You don't have to be beholden to what they told you in the book. You can't beat the S&P 500. I'm not saying I'm the best trader in the world by any means at all, but I done beat the S&P 500 5 years. it's not as hard as it sounds if you really watch stuff every day. And we be playing with options, so that's gonna change everything. Because when they told you you couldn't beat the S&P 500, they probably weren't even thinking about options. If the S&P do 20% in a year, 25% on a good year, 27% this year, and an option can do that in a day, it's a little different. You see what I'm saying? But it's all about doing research. It's all about doing research. You see what I'm saying? So it's like, back to my example of the company with a 20 PE ratio that pays a dividend. So the problem with that set of thinking is when you're getting a dividend from a stock, you're sacrificing. On the other end, you got to choose what they call it, pick your poison. So like, if I'm heavy in a Coca-Cola or let me think, Lockheed Martin, well, not Lockheed Martin, they developed, but a big dividend stock, most of that money that company's bringing in is going to go back to paying shareholders because the company's so mature that they don't necessarily have any way to grow the money anymore. Like Coca-Cola is not investing in a new division to come out with major new products. I'm pretty sure they have some research and development to, come out with little drinks here and there, but it's not a major focus. Their main focus is to pay back what they make to shareholders. Whereas a company that's in tech or even a younger company, it wouldn't necessarily make sense for them to do that. Like, that's what people getting scared of now. Do people really want an Apple dividend and the iPhone looks the same for the rest of their life? No. They need Apple to take that money and come up with something new. At Palantir, I don't want a dividend. The only reason we eat now is because they was doing AI when no one was thinking about AI. So now that they're getting money off AI as an investor, I would hope they're working on the next thing behind the scenes that people aren't even thinking about yet, that will be needed 5 years from now, 10 years from now. Same with Tesla. Tesla is the riskiest of the big stocks. So I understand why people wouldn't want to invest in Tesla. But it's the same basic concept. Do you want a dividend, or do you want Elon to spend that money trying to make that robot? So, you just got to pick your battle. You know what I'm saying? There's no right or wrong way to do it. It's all about risk tolerance. But I feel like people should understand, what they're investing in, why they're investing in something, because a lot of people just look at it very simple. They want to put money in the market. They don't really want to lose money like that. And so they'll go buy a bunch of dividend stocks and just index funds. And there's nothing wrong with that if you don't intend to watch the market. You see what I'm saying? If you just want to work your job, you got a great career, you don't want to watch anything, you just want to live your life, I completely understand that. But if you're the type of person who likes to get a little more active, got a little more time, or maybe you're interested in the market, there could be greener pastures out here if you look past. Because all right, I say, for example, valuations. It wasn't necessarily PE with Palantir when they were low, but people was concerned because the growth was declining. They thought Palantir wasn't nothing back in the day. Well, I remember even with Palantir at 5, 6, 7, 8, a lot of analysts was down Palantir because they were just strictly looking at the balance sheet. Just like my friend who's strictly looking at the PE and the dividend. If you strictly look only at the balance sheet, you're going to miss the growth story of the entire company. And that's what messes people up. People with Palantir, for example, you're looking at the balance sheet. Now, on the balance sheet, I was confident to go all in because I knew they had $2-4 billion in cash at the time, so there's no way they were going bankrupt. And I've been believing in Palantir even before the market crashed. So I felt like when the market crashed in 2022, that was going to be my best stock to double down on of all the ones I messed with. But what people going to have to realize is that you got to start looking past that balance sheet, and you got to start looking past just that chart. Those things are very helpful. I use both of those tools. But if you don't know the story of the company you're investing in, you're going to keep getting bad results. Like with Palantir, when they were low and the analysts were saying this, we're seeing they just launched AIP. We're seeing AIP boot camps. We're seeing customers saying they love the product in real life. You see what I'm saying? So you got to dig a little deeper to look in what's actually going on with the company. With NVIDIA and AMD. NVIDIA, it was obvious what was going on with the company at the time. Everybody was buying the chips from them. You know what I'm saying? Their balance sheet was actually pretty good, so it was kind of sweet. But even then, if you was just looking at, what's the PE ratio? That's an important metric, but it's a metric that a lot of beginners get caught up with because they think it's the end all be all, and it's not. They don't, you got to learn about the forward PE ratio a lot of times. It's other metrics you could use. Price to sales, you know what I'm saying? So it's we have to get more financial literacy no matter what financial stage we at. Like, I got a friend, he refused to get on his camera. He think YouTube's a joke. He don't like YouTube, but he done turned $50 into $10,000 this year. Obviously, he worth way more than $50, but he just knows how to trade, and he knows the stock. He knows the stock he was trading. He seen the news on the stock. He seen the money, the momentum on the chart, so he just went crazy. And that's when all these things come together. I remember this same partner I'm talking about, he turned $10 into $1,000 on Dell this year. And I remember when it happened, a lot of my partners was running around like, oh, how you do that? I want to turn $10 into $1,000. What they don't realize, my boy watches the market every day like me. So due to the fact, this like one of my partners, I trained my boy, and now he don't even need me no more. He that dude, like, we still work together, but he don't even need me no more. So he watches so much market data like I do that financial information constantly crosses timeline on YouTube, right? So the day that he did that, he was minding his own business. He gets a Meet Kevin video. Meet Kevin happens to be talking about Dell and what they got going on in context to AI. Then on top of that, Dell earnings was the same day. That crossed my man's timeline. He put 2 and 2 together. He saw the macro situation with Dell early. So then, you know, he didn't have the most money, but he said, I'll take some risks. You know, it's earnings day. I just got this DD, due diligence, you know, from this Meet Kevin video. I already knew about Dell stock. We was already talking about Dell stock. So he decided to pull the trigger, go all the way out on the money on earnings for fun. Spent $10. Next thing you know, I think Dell beat earnings for real. Went up like 20-30%. $10 turned into $1,000. You see what I'm saying? So these things sound like, oh, you're a genius. No, you're not a genius. You're just a person who just constantly watches these things. I always hate that. They think just because someone, like, especially the haters, when people like me start getting stuff right, they'll be like, oh, you think you're a genius? I don't think I'm no genius. I actually think I'm a retard, to be honest. Or regard, as we say on Wall Street Bets these days. But no, it's just about, I watch this thing every day. I watch this thing every day. I don't take days off, you feel me? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yesterday, I was helping my boy set up the studio, so I'm recording yesterday's video today. But other than that, I don't take no days off. You feel me? I really live this shit. And I advise everybody, no matter what career field you in, you should pick something that you really live. Because then you could be like your boy Steve from Printer Gang Investments and master your craft. You feel me? If you're in a craft that you don't love, you're not going to master it. You feel me? But, you know, this going to be the war on financial literacy, part 2. You know, we're going to be doing more parts of this. Market finna open today. We're going to see, is it going to bounce? Is it going to crash? Is it going to keep beating up my portfolio? We're going to run it up? We're going to find out on Printer Gang Investments. I'm going to see y'all in the next video. You know what I'm saying? More YOLO updates. I'm going to be doing DD videos this year. My freestyles. I'm going to make a whole song. I'm going to do the whole music video. We might start doing some videos that ain't a car, even though I love my car. What else? Research videos. People been asking for research videos, so I'm gonna start reacting to, you know, some of the research that I do. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna have a great 2025. I appreciate everybody who like, comment, subscribe, share in 2024. I appreciate that. You know what I'm saying? Because I love this market shit and I love to talk about it to y'all. And I will see y'all in the next video. I'm out.